Hello, this is my third video, and it's going to be the third Empire video. So, yeah, this video is like the other Empire videos. There's no alliances, no nukes, and yeah, that just makes everybody better. And most of the time, the nation that's going to be making an empire is going to be extremely buffed. Like today, we're doing Japan, and yeah. They had an empire in history. Why not make another one? Well, one, the Constitution's against it, but who cares now? They're going to start making an empire. And their first target is North Korea, as they're allied with this guy. And this guy likes that, so they join in, but this guy doesn't. And they go on blue team. But then Russia sees a good time to snatch Manchuria from China because they want that area. So they're gonna go with the red team, which is probably so. Over here, we have we have South Korea pushing into North Korea. Probably would This war would probably eventually happen, and the Russians are helping out the South Koreans push around the Manchurian border. And after like reaching a tiny bit, Japan starts making naval landings. And yet, Japan is severely buffed. They would never be able to make a naval landing. Eventually, all of North Korea is capitulated, but it doesn't surrender. So its forces are all in China, which is just as well because it's going to get brutal for China, especially when somebody very powerful is going to declare war on you, and that one is India. But China does get that like Pakistan, and most of Central Asia is on blue team. Also Mongolia, and that's Mongolia is now a buffer zone between Russia and China, but not that China has anything useful in this area. So we're gonna see who wins. Well, I'm pretty sure you guys already know Japan will win because this is Japan's video, and you cannot get mad at me if your country gets slapped. And this is only hypothetical. This would actually never happen in real life unless Japan starts breaking World War II treaties, and that's probably not going to happen because it's pro-Western now. And after pushing some land up there, we are going to see Japan make a naval landing right next to Beijing. And that's just as well because if it captures that, then that means China will be pro-Western. And that's a big ad. And then Russia starts trying to take over all of Manchuria with South Korean help, but China does not allow that. And that happens. So now Japan has managed to defeat China before, but that was when it was extremely powerful, and that was a very long time ago. So probably not gonna happen again. So now it's pushing up here and nearly capturing Beijing, but captured this Gulf. I really don't know the name of that, but its navy is very well blockading anything that goes through the South China Sea. And Taiwan sees a good time to join on Red Team to make China, to show that it's the proper owner of China. And then using Taiwan as a staging ground, Japan delivers supplies and more men to this naval landing, which eventually, with some more naval landings that I didn't show here, connects with the main front. And now there's a huge front there. In Central Asia, India is probably not going to focus on Pakistan and focus on pretty much taking out Central Asia itself. So it's going to start invading here into Pakistan, capture Islamabad, and then go down there, capture the coast. Pakistan never surrendered, but its forces all escaped into Afghanistan, and all the forces are now are now in Afghanistan and Tajikistan. So they are managing to push back the Indians. They are managing to push back the Indians, but not a lot. So India should be able to take care of that. And now there's even a worse thing for China, as Vietnam joins the war to try to get their revenge on China. So now they open this front, capture the rest of the Chinese coast. So now China has no more coastline. And then the blockade is ended here, as now the Navy is now going to be focusing on delivering supplies to the people. And after capturing many major cities such as Shanghai and Hong Kong, China is nearly surrendered, but they knew if they did that, it would China would become the Republic of China, and no communist guy wants that. So keep fighting and fighting. Like around here, Vietnam and India make a small offensive in the mountains, and but India is mostly focusing on taking care of Central Asia, and it does so successfully, pushing back it completely out of the country, out of Pakistan, and now is beginning to push into Afghanistan. And it's captured around half the country. And these two guys don't know why they're fighting their war, so they surrender and allow Indian troops to go on there. That's a big hit to Central Asia, as they are surrounded. They're smack in the middle, and that makes it a lot easier to push into Afghanistan and more Central Asia. Yeah, more Central Asia, sure. So after pushing it more, all these countries just surrender. So now that they're gone, it's just China and Mongolia. And Mongolia has some rebels popping up. I don't know if that happened in real life, but they are. And Mongolia surrenders. And Mongolia is now very well gone, and the buffer zone between Russia and China I told you about, oh, it's gone. And now there's a huge encirclement there's a huge race to Beijing, and Beijing is captured and China surrenders. So now after China surrendered, let's take a look at, let's see what the peace treaty will look like. Wait, no, Japan's gonna stay red. So Japanese places. So now China is the Republic of China. That's nice, and it's pro-Western now. That's Taiwan's part. Russia gets what they wanted out of this, and that was Manchuria. They got that. They got that. And the new capital of China is no longer Beijing. It's now the old republic. It's now Taipei, because Taiwan just reunited China. So yeah, Manchuria is gone. And guess who gets some? Japan gets some coast and one, and gets that, and that. South Korea's part is, I'm pretty sure you saw this coming, uniting the Koreas. Like North Korea and South Korea really only wanted to do. Nope, that sucked. That was a bit bad. So after uniting the Koreas, and after that's happened, China has to, another part of the peace treaty for India is it has to remove this claim. Yes, it has to remove that claim. India gets its claims over Kashmir. Got that from China, and they had a claim in Pakistan, so it's going to get that. Mainly the Central Asian countries didn't lose much because literally kind of nobody lives there, so why even take land? There's nothing in the lands there except for like Kazakhstan, there's oil. And I know like the US would have appreciated to get some oil, and like Europe would have appreciated that. So that's India. That's new India. India looks a bit bigger, not much. And now let's color in Japan. Yes, let's go color in. So Japan's got that and that. So yeah, that's New Japan, and this is all Russian now. So let's make it. We are making it Russian right now because that's what Russia wanted out of this war. So after gaining the land it wanted, because it needed some warm water ports, but still its Pacific fleet is kind of horrible. Japan is looking a lot bigger now than what it was. It kind of got half its size now. So now let's see next country it goes after. So let's see. I believe it would probably go after this island. Like they still want that. They still like these islands. So they're gonna start with Russia, who is war torn, and that was part of Japan's plan. They did not contribute much to the war, except for their naval blockade and some naval landings. That's what they contributed, but Russia contributed a lot more. So it's very well not in shape for a war with now a new modern power. And Japan really only wants this island. So Japanese troops land on it, push up the island, and take it over. Boom. There's the island. It's now part of Japan. And now they call over to their ally, Korea, and say, why don't you come help us? And they like it. And so does China. Because China wants back Manchuria. So Chinese troops cross the border, Korean troops cross the border, and Japanese troops land up north, not that it's very useful. And also these islands are all Russian, and Japan still wants those islands, so they're gonna go get them. So they made some island hopping and made a small landing on the Kamchatka Peninsula, and another landing to cut off some places, and after taking over the entire peninsula, are focusing their way up to Europe. They do have Belarus is joining Russia's side, but Ukraine really just wants to get some stuff out of this, and so does Finland. So after those two enemies, Ukraine takes care of Belarus. So now Russia has two fronts to a couple of very powerful countries. Two very powerful countries attacking them, with also like a third minor country. So yeah, on the Asian front, they're still pushing into Manchuria, but because a lot of Russian soldiers are there, it's probably not the easiest. The breeze that looks like this, and it's not, because now that Russia noticed what was going on, they started conscripting men to the army and were pushing back the Japanese and Chinese and Koreans. So yeah, but that was up north there, not good enough. So after encircling a large Russian army and squeezing in from all directions, and with new supplies arriving from Japan, this that's like a million soldiers trapped and had to surrender. So now Russia is tired of the war and opts for a peace treaty. So the peace treaty is China gets Manchuria. Korea did not want any. Korea gets unification with China, like they once were part of China and they want to be part of China again. And China is getting, that means like Korea and that those they are getting Manchuria back from the Russians. From the Russians that took it. So after taking Manchuria, they are now, no. Let's try that again. And remember, forgot to change the color. So they're taking Manchuria and taking that over. Japan gets that island and these islands that they want. Also, they also get some place called the Kamchatka Peninsula. There's literally nothing useful in that place. But still, they wanted some more land to look more powerful on the world stage. Because who doesn't? They just want to, some countries don't because they're not. If it's a powerful country, they probably would like to look very powerful on a world stage. And that means looking pretty darn big. So they just wanted some land out of that. And they also got this island and these islands. So now, I think we can start making I think that's how far the empire of Japan will go. So let's get everybody back to having peace. So you're in peace, you're in peace. And you're in peace. So that was the Asian front. And over here, you're in peace, you're in peace, you're in peace. They didn't get anything because they didn't contribute much. So Japan got a huge amount of land out of China. And out of China and Russia, mostly Russia. They got back their island and these little islands. So now let's zoom out and see how it looks on the world stage. Yep, that looks like a pretty darn powerful country there on the world stage. Gotta admit that. So yeah, I'm gonna just show you how big it was before this video. It was just that. Doesn't that look kind of small? And with the red in it, that's bigger. That's a lot bigger, right? So yeah, that's it for the Japanese Empire video. So if you want more of this, you should probably press this video over here, which is the Armenia Empire, or you could press above for the Canada Empire. And if you like this video, you can press down and subscribe. So, and also like this video, that really helps me make new videos. So, have a good day and see you next video.